Okay folks, buckle up. Today on the Mysteria Archive, we'll delve into the life and death of one of the most forward-thinking visionaries of all time, who inspired modern science far beyond his era, Nikola Tesla. Get ready for a wild ride. What if one man held the keys to unlimited power? Not political power, but literal power. Energy plucked from the air, enough to light up cities without wires, without bills, without limits. What if that same man whispered of weapons that could end wars overnight, or signals from outer space that no one else could hear? That man was Nikola Tesla. A genius, yes. A dreamer, absolutely. But to some, a dangerous figure, a man whose ideas threatened the foundations of wealth, war and control. And here's the question that's haunted history ever since. When Tesla died, did his secrets die with him, or were they hidden away, locked up by those who feared what he knew? Tonight, we unravel the genius, the mysteries and the conspiracies that surround Nikola Tesla, the man who may have known too much. Okay, right off the bat, Tesla's story feels less like a biography and more like a thriller. You've got a misunderstood genius, shadowy figures watching from the sidelines, and inventions that sound like they came straight out of a sci-fi movie. And the thing is, most of this actually happened. I mean, imagine trying to pitch wireless global energy in the early 1900s. That's like showing up to a horse and buggy convention with a Tesla Model S. You're going to get some very strange looks. But here's what makes this fascinating. Tesla wasn't just ahead of his time, he was outside of it. And the world, well, the world wasn't ready. At least, not the people who had the most to lose. Tesla, the visionary genius and the war with Edison. The late 1800s. The world is electrifying, literally. Cities are glowing for the first time. But behind the scenes, a war is brewing. Not a war with guns and cannons, but with wires and currents. On one side, Thomas Edison, America's most celebrated inventor, championing his system of direct current, or DC. On the other, Nikola Tesla, the outsider, the immigrant, the eccentric, who believed alternating current, or AC, was the future. Edison fought dirty. Public demonstrations were staged where he electrocuted animals, even an elephant, to convince the public that Tesla's AC was dangerous. It was a campaign of fear, and yet Tesla's system won. AC powered the world. But this wasn't just a technical victory, it was symbolic. Tesla wasn't just trying to build machines, he was building a vision of the future, a world where energy flowed freely, invisibly, across continents. He dreamed of wireless communication, wireless power, even reaching to the stars. And while Edison chased patents and profit, Tesla seemed almost uninterested in wealth. He wanted to give power literally to the people. But here's the catch. A man like Tesla with ideas so radical was bound to make powerful enemies. And that war with Edison? That was just the beginning. You gotta hand it to Tesla. The guy was playing chess while everyone else was still learning checkers. Edison was like, let's light up cities. And Tesla's over here saying, cool, but what if we could beam energy through the air? And the smear campaign, classic. Edison literally cooked animals in front of crowds just to prove a point. That's not science, that's WWE level theatrics. Now here's what's wild. Tesla didn't even care about money the way Edison did. He wanted to give away power. Imagine pitching an idea like that to energy tycoons. It's like walking into an oil company and saying, yeah, I've got a machine that makes gasoline free. You're not getting a Christmas card from those guys. So yeah, Tesla won the battle of AC versus DC, but in some ways, it also painted a giant target on his back. Wardenclyffe Tower, free energy or suppressed power. On the north shore of Long Island, 1901, a tower begins to rise. 187 feet of steel and wood, topped with a massive copper dome. To passers-by, it looked like a strange lighthouse. But to Nikola Tesla, it's something far greater, the key to unlocking free, wireless energy for the entire planet. Funded by industrial titan J.P. Morgan, the Wardenclyffe Tower was officially designed for wireless communication, the forerunner of modern radio. But Tesla's ambitions went beyond messages. He dreamed of transmitting power through the Earth itself. Electricity leaping invisibly through the air, lighting up cities, powering machines, all without wires, without fuel, and most importantly, without a bill. But here's the twist. When Morgan realized he couldn't put a meter on free energy, the funding stopped. the tower was abandoned, dismantled, and eventually destroyed. And this is where the conspiracy takes hold. Was it simply a business decision, or was Wardenclyffe deliberately shut down to prevent a revolution that would topple the world's most powerful industries? Oil, coal, banking. Empires that thrived on control would have crumbled in a world where energy was free. Tesla's vision died on that shoreline, or maybe it was killed. Wardenclyffe Tower is one of those stories where you don't even need to wear a tinfoil hat. The conspiracy writes itself. I mean, picture J.P. Morgan. This is a guy who basically owned half of American industry. Tesla comes up to him and says, "Hey, I've got this great idea. Free energy for everyone." And Morgan's like, "Wait, free? As in nobody pays?" Yeah, good luck with that pitch. It's like trying to sell a Netflix subscription that streams every movie ever made for free. Investors aren't lining up for that one. So, was Wardenclyffe shut down because it wasn't profitable or because it was too revolutionary? Honestly, it's probably both. And that's why this feels like Tesla's tower wasn't just abandoned, it was buried. The Tunguska event, Tesla's secret test. June 30th, 1908, Siberia. A blinding fireball streaks across the sky before exploding with the force of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs. The blast flattens over 800 square miles of forest. Trees lie like matchsticks, radiating outward from the epicenter. The Tunguska event, as it became known, remains one of the greatest mysteries in modern history. Mainstream science says it was likely a meteor that exploded before hitting the ground. But here's the strange part. No crater was ever found. No impact site, just devastation. And here's where Tesla re-enters the story. Around the same time, Tesla was running experiments with his Wardenclyffe Tower, claiming he could transmit massive amounts of energy wirelessly across vast distances. Now, some fringe researchers believe Tesla may have attempted a demonstration, aiming his beam across the globe, and Tunguska was the result. It sounds outrageous, but the timing overlaps in eerie ways. Tesla himself wrote letters around this period, boasting that he could deliver energy powerful enough to destroy an army, a bolt of Thor. Of course, most historians dismiss this as fantasy, but in conspiracy circles, Tunguska is the smoking gun, a secret test of Tesla's ultimate weapon, a test that may have worked all too well. Okay, I'm not saying Tesla accidentally nuked Siberia, but it's hard not to notice how perfectly the timelines line up. On one hand, you've got a meteor theory with no meteor. On the other, a genius with a giant energy tower who just so happens to be experimenting at the exact same time. I mean, that's either the coincidence of the century or the world's first oops my bad superweapon test. Now, is it plausible Tesla aimed Wardenclyffe at Siberia? Probably not, but the fact people even believe it tells you how big this legend has grown. When something unexplained happens, people go, yeah, maybe it was Tesla. Honestly, if I had to pick between boring space rock and Nikola Tesla firing a wireless death beam, my money's on the death beam. Way cooler story. The death ray and Tesla's final days. By the 1930s, Tesla's reputation had faded. Once hailed as the man who electrified the world, he now lived in near poverty in New York hotels, feeding pigeons in the park and scribbling ideas in notebooks no one would read. But behind this lonely figure, Tesla still claimed he was on the verge of a discovery that could change everything. He called it the Teleforce weapon. The press dubbed it the death ray. Tesla insisted it wasn't science fiction. He described a system that could project concentrated beams of particles across miles, enough to bring down airplanes, stop invading armies, even make war itself obsolete. In 1934, newspapers ran sensational headlines about Tesla's new superweapon. Governments listened. Tesla wrote to both the United States and foreign powers, offering the plans as a defensive tool, a way to create what he called an invisible Chinese wall of power around nations. But no one ever bought it. Some say they dismissed him as eccentric. Others suspect the idea was far too real and too dangerous. In his final years, Tesla claimed he had perfected the design. Then, in January 1943, he died alone in his hotel room. Within hours, the plans for the death ray vanished. Some believe they were destroyed. Others say they were quietly seized and hidden, their ideas absorbed into secret programs that continue to this day. The truth? It's still missing. All right, imagine being Nikola Tesla, broke, living in hotels, feeding pigeons, and still pitching the most powerful weapon the world has ever heard of, the death ray. And honestly, it's not hard to picture why nobody wanted to advertise they were working with him. I mean, how do you announce that without starting a global panic? Yes, folks, we're building a giant invisible wall of doom beams. Sleep tight. But here's the kicker. The papers disappear the same day Tesla dies. Coincidence? Maybe. But if history has taught us anything, it's that dangerous ideas don't vanish. They get locked away. And you've got to wonder, whose vault are they in now? Tesla's death and the FBI's X-Files. Tesla died on January the 7th, 1943, alone in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. He was 86 years old. But his death was only the beginning of the mystery. Within hours, federal agents from the Office of Alien Property entered his room and seized trunks full of papers, journals, and devices. Officially, this was standard wartime security. Unofficially, it fueled one of the greatest conspiracies in scientific history. The government later claimed much of Tesla's work was examined, deemed impractical, and released. But conspiracy theorists argue the most sensitive documents, the ones on wireless power, directed energy, even the death ray, disappeared into classified military projects. Some say they re-emerged decades later in Ronald Reagan's Star Wars missile defense program. Others link them to stealth technology, modern directed energy weapons, even HAARP. Then there's another twist. Reports claim the FBI brought in a leading scientist to analyze Tesla's papers, a man named John G. Trump. Yes, the uncle of a future US president. He later insisted Tesla's ideas were speculative, but conspiracy circles suggest otherwise. That his job was not to dismiss Tesla's genius, but to keep it under wraps. So, what really happened to Tesla's missing files? Were they lost to history or absorbed into the secret machinery of the state? This is where Tesla's story stops being science and starts sounding like a spy thriller. I mean, you die in a hotel room. Within hours, guys in suits swoop in and take your life's work. That's not retirement, that's a movie opening. And let's be honest, when the Office of Alien Property is the one seizing your stuff, the name alone makes people suspicious. Alien Property? Come on, that sounds like a sci-fi cover-up division. Now, maybe Tesla's papers really were just speculative. Or maybe they were the blueprint for half the black budget projects we've heard whispers about ever since. Either way, Tesla didn't just die, he became classified. The Philadelphia Experiment, Tesla's lost tech. In 1943, the Second World War was raging, and the US Navy was experimenting with radical new technologies to gain an edge. One story, whispered for decades, is that they attempted something no military had ever dared before, to make a warship invisible. The USS Eldridge is at the center of this legend. According to conspiracy lore, the ship vanished from a Philadelphia dockyard, reappeared hundreds of miles away, and then returned. And some witnesses claim to see men fused into bulkheads, their bodies twisted into the steel. Others said sailors lost their minds, trapped between dimensions. The supposed source of this technology? Nikola Tesla's research. Fringe accounts suggest his notes on electromagnetic fields and resonance were adapted for the Navy. Tesla himself had warned that meddling with these forces could destabilize reality. Some even claim Tesla refused to help, fearing catastrophic consequences. The official Navy stance? The experiment never happened. No invisibility, no teleportation, just routine wartime tests exaggerated into legend. But to believers, the Philadelphia experiment was Tesla's lost technology misused after his death, a terrifying glimpse of what happens when you push physics beyond its limits. So, was it all fantasy, or was it the moment Tesla's forbidden ideas stepped into military hands? Okay, if this story is true, then the US Navy basically tried to play hide and seek with an entire warship. That's ambitious, and you have to laugh at the official denial. Like, of course they'd say, nothing to see here, folks. Definitely no vanishing ships or half-few sailors, because that would look great on a recruitment poster. Now, did Tesla really hand them the blueprints? Hard to say, but the idea that this work could have inspired a test this wild, that's peak Tesla. Always dreaming 10 steps ahead, sometimes maybe too far ahead. And if the story is even half true, it shows just how dangerous his lost tech could have been in the wrong hands. HAARP and weather control. Tesla once dreamed of a world powered by wireless energy. towers transmitting electricity across the globe. No wires, no limits. But in his experiments, he also toyed with something even stranger: the Earth's ionosphere. He believed it could be tapped, manipulated, even used to transmit power across continents. Decades later, a program appeared that conspiracy theorists immediately tied to Tesla's legacy, HAARP, the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program in Alaska. Officially, it was a scientific project to study the ionosphere. Unofficially, it became the centerpiece of countless theories. Some claim HAARP is Tesla's vision weaponized, that its massive antenna arrays can control the weather, steering storms, triggering earthquakes, even shifting jet streams. Others whisper about mind influence, global communication manipulation, and silent weapons hidden in plain sight. The military has always denied these claims, insisting HAARP was about basic science, not global domination. And indeed, much of the facility has since been opened to public tours. Yet, the suspicion lingers. Was HAARP just the public face of something far deeper, a continuation of Tesla's experiments with powers too vast to be openly acknowledged? Tesla dreamed of harnessing the sky itself. The question is, did someone else finish the job? Now, here's where things get really stormy, literally. The idea that Tesla laid the groundwork for controlling the weather sounds like a sci-fi plot, but when you hear about HAARP and those massive antennas firing energy into the atmosphere, it makes people's imaginations run wild. And honestly, I get it, because if you could control the weather, you'd control crops, energy, even wars. That's not just power, that's godlike. Now, do I think HAARP was secretly steering hurricanes like a PlayStation game? Probably not, but the fact that Tesla was experimenting with this a century ago shows how far ahead his mind was. He wasn't just trying to power light bulbs, he was trying to bend the planet itself. The mystical Tesla, 369 and alien messages. For all his science, Nikola Tesla often spoke like a mystic. He became obsessed with certain numbers, 3, 6, and 9. To him, they weren't just digits, they were cosmic keys. Tesla reportedly said, "If you only knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe." What did he mean? Numerologists point to sacred geometry, to hidden patterns in nature, to the architecture of the cosmos itself. Some believe Tesla wasn't just simply inventing technology. He was uncovering laws that bridge science and the metaphysical. And then there were the signals. In 1899, while working in Colorado Springs, Tesla claimed he intercepted radio transmissions not from Earth, but from Mars. He believed he was receiving intelligent patterns, a cosmic greeting. Mainstream scientists later chalked it up to natural radio emissions, but Tesla himself was convinced humanity was not alone. To his critics, these claims made him sound eccentric, perhaps even delusional. To his admirers, it confirmed that Tesla was tapping into something beyond human comprehension, knowledge that felt less discovered than delivered. So, was Tesla simply a brilliant scientist flirting with mysticism? Or was he, as some conspiracy theorists suggest, a kind of messenger, a man entrusted with secrets from somewhere far beyond? Okay, Tesla saying 3, 6, and 9 were the keys to the universe. That's not just math, that's straight up Dan Brown novel stuff. And if you're like me, you instantly want to go and count the tiles on your kitchen floor to see if they mean something. And those supposed alien signals. Well, here's the thing. If anyone was going to get a cosmic voicemail, it would have been Tesla. The guy basically invented half the modern world before breakfast. And was he a genius who got a little bit too mystical? Or a mystic who spoke the language of science? Either way, it's no wonder people still treat him like the wizard of the modern age. Closing thoughts. Tesla's legacy and suppression. Nikola Tesla died alone in 1943 in a hotel room in New York City. At the time, he was regarded by many as a forgotten eccentric, a man whose wild ideas outpaced his achievements. But history has a way of correcting itself. Today, Tesla is remembered not just as the father of alternating current, but as a visionary who reached for the impossible. His name powers cars, rockets, and imaginations. Yet, behind the admiration, the conspiracies remain. Did elites bury his ideas to protect their grip on energy and power? Were his final inventions quietly taken by governments, locked away in classified vaults? Or was Tesla simply too far ahead of his time, his genius dismissed because the world just wasn't ready? What's certain is that Tesla blurred the line between science and the extraordinary. He gave us electricity but dreamed of touching the stars. He engineered machines but spoke of numbers unlocking the universe. He was both scientist and seer, and perhaps that's why his story feels unfinished. Because whether you believe the conspiracies or not, Tesla left us with more questions than answers, and maybe that's the greatest mystery of all. Here's what I love about Tesla's story. He was equal parts science and myth. You can fact-check the patents and still end up wondering about the death ray, the alien messages and the missing papers. Was he silenced? Was he ignored? Or was he just too brilliant for the world to handle? Honestly, maybe it's all three. But one thing's for sure, Tesla still feels like a live wire. Every time his name comes up, it sparks that same question. What did he know that we don't? Now, if you're one of the lucky ones to have the hype button below, please smash it 3 times and it'll help boost this video. I'd really appreciate it as we're trying to chase down 100,000 subs. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And don't forget to let me know in the comments below of videos you would like to see next. Okay, my friends, be safe, and until next time, stay curious.